we are pretty much going to be kicking off a week of mostly DC content here. I'm not sure if there will be one or two things in the middle that are different, but hey, I am actually very excited for DC Fandom. That is this coming Saturday, August 22nd. So I thought, hey, what better way to lead up to it than doing some DC stuff mostly all week long, some streams, some videos, kind of leading into that. And today I wanted to talk about Batman. Again, that's a channel topic. Like it's a topic that has come up on this channel quite frequently. It's probably one of the most frequent things that I do because I am very passionate about this character, about his games, and about the direction that he has been taken in different ways. And I wanted to talk about why I believe this new Batman game, because let's be honest, this is most likely a Batman game being revealed by WB Games on Saturday, August 22nd. Sure, it might be something else, but all the rumors line up with it, all the reports, everything lines up with this. I wanted to talk about why this potential game should not be an Arkham game. I gave my opinion last time on why I thought it should be, and here are the reasons why I think that it should not be an Arkham game. It should be its own continuity or launch a new timeline. And the first one is that there is a very convoluted timeline for Batman Arkham. Like already, it is very out there with lots of gaps and things going on in between. And it's not just a convoluted history of games. I mean, the games mostly do a good job. They have to retcon some stuff once in a while to sort of get out of areas they put themselves in. For example, the Arkham Asylum tapes, the interview tapes, a lot of those were later retconned in different stories and things like that. However, it's not just the games. There have also been Arkham comics, some of which are considered canon, at least by fans. There has been a movie, Assault on Arkham, which they have come out and said, hey, this takes place in the Arkham universe. A lot of people won't accept that, but it's still something that's been said. You know, there's all kinds of stuff. The Arkham brand has been around for so long that it's gotten a ton of products. We've even seen things like the spin-off game, Blackgate, for Arkham Origins, which are supposedly canon as well. You know, there's really nothing making that not canon. All these different games, comics, and even a movie really do make it hard to work within this continuity. You can still do it, but it does limit your creative freedoms a little bit. And that's a point that we're going to get into here as well, because the second thing is there is a lot of dead characters. This is not just having to do with the convoluted timeline. It also has to do with things like the comics and even the events of the games, which I'm sure you know if you're here, so I don't feel bad spoiling those things. Things like how, Arkham Knight, Jason Todd, went off and killed a lot of people in the comics. There's quite a few villains that are just dead. Now, a lot of them are C or D list Batman villains, but they're still villains that are dead. You can't really work with them unless you either undo it or put a different person under the mask, which is possible, but not going to be easy to do. Now, that limits what you can do following Arkham Knight. If you wanted to do something after Arkham Knight, you could still put something between Arkham Origins and Arkham Asylum if you wanted. That's definitely possible. But it does really seem to me like, again, you're sort of having to go in specific directions to include specific characters. Even someone like the Joker, which Arkham has always really had a focus on, is gone. So if you want to use him after Arkham Knight, you really can't without it being mega forced at this point. You could put him in a game between, Origins and Asylum again, but it would also feel like we're really hammering the same point home. So it would really be helpful to move out of that continuity. The third thing is, this could actually launch a new universe with the new Suicide Squad game, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, which would actually beat their competitor Marvel to a shared games universe. Marvel has not been able to really pull this off very well because they haven't seemed to try, actually, in terms of creating a shared games universe. They have their Insomniac Spider-Man universe, and then they have this new Avengers universe, which they've already said are separate now, which I think is definitely a missed opportunity to do something new that they haven't really done. Marvel has had games in the same universe before and things referencing each other, but not really in a complete, coherent, connected way without it just being numbered sequels like Ultimate Alliance 1, 2, 3, things like that. So I do think that DC could really beat Marvel there and actually sort of create what the MCU was for movies in games. Maybe you have Batman, Gotham Knights is a game. And then Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is a game. They're in the same continuity and reference each other. Then you bring in a Superman game that's able to reference both or use elements from both, or maybe be a prequel to both. There's all kinds of things you can do here that would really branch out this universe and keep players invested. And you know what? This is the thing. You know what people want to do generally more than anything in media is create a franchise. The MCU really showed that, but you even saw that way back with things like Star Wars and Star Trek, that if you are able to create a franchise and build new stories off of that, not only does it allow you to have a lot of creative framework for what you're working with, but it also allows you to pretty much create infinite products to a point and tie them together so people keep caring. This is something that the MCU was able to do very well, and I think a DC games universe could definitely pull off with the right writers, the right care, and the right development. This would also allow the ability to introduce very different mechanics that don't need to adhere to the Arkham formula, as you would think. Maybe instead of feeling like, hey, we need to, change around the grapple system, but make it so it still fits with Arkham Origins and Arkham Knight, maybe now it's like, hey, we can completely revamp the grapnel system or the ability to fly in the city or in any area, and it doesn't need to be like it was in Arkham. It can be its own thing, it can be new, it can be what we want to make. I think that allows even more creative freedom, and I'm not saying that you should get rid of the way things ran. I think that the combat is one of the best in superhero games, but it does really seem like it would be great to have that creative freedom to sort of move away from the formula of feeling like you have to fit it into this framework and just picking and choosing the things you want to keep while adding in new ideas that don't necessarily have to mesh with things like how Arkham played. I believe that would also sort of fulfill a player want, because the thing is that as players, a lot of times we don't actually fully know what we want out of a game until it shows up, right? So a lot of people might not think of a certain game idea, but then when it shows up and it's amazing, we're like, holy cow, wow, nobody made this before? Why didn't this happen? I think that being able to move away here would actually make that more possible. Now, I think a lot of times gamers and fans of franchises have great ideas, sometimes even better than the people making those franchises, but it is nice to see new surprises along the way, and those are harder to see in part of a franchise than they are as a standalone new thing. Finally, I do want to actually talk about the relationships of these games, because the focus on the relationships in the Arkham games is mainly between Batman and the Joker. There are other relationships explored a little bit, like, Bruce Wayne and Alfred is explored a little bit, especially in Origins. You see some things with the Bat family, but mainly the relationships in these games take a backseat to Batman and the Joker. Because of that, it would be awesome to see new relationships explored. I'm not saying get rid of the Joker, never use him again in a game, because he is a fantastic character. Even the people who say he's overused, I think it's very hard to argue he's not a good character. However, I think that it would be great for him to take a bit of a backseat for a while, so maybe we could see Batman's relationship with his other villains in his rogues gallery, or even a more in-depth relationship with the Bat family or other heroes. I think that this would be very interesting and add a new layer to this game that we haven't fully seen yet. So hey, these are my ideas of why I think that this game should be just off on its own, whether it's a standalone game or launching a new continuity, which is kind of what I hope. That this is the beginning of a new continuity for DC games. Let me know what you think, though, in the comments down below. Are you excited for DC Fandom? What do you expect to see actually this Saturday, August 22nd for this game? And do you think this will be a Batman game, or are you still like very on the fence? Have you been hurt too many times, a little bit like me, and you're just kind of like, oh, I hope this is what this is, but who knows? Let me know what you're thinking down there. Be sure to like the video if you enjoyed it, dislike if you dislike, subscribe for more content. As always, I will see you in the next one. Have a fantastic day and stay shway.